Hi, counting down the top 20 questions received about medical writing in 2019. Question number 13 is medical writing a terminal job? I think there are many ways to ask this question, and I fully understand the intent or the thought process behind this question. I feel that another way of asking it would be, if I'm a medical writer now, will I continue being a medical writer for the rest of my career? It's an interesting question, also an important question to ask. I first began doing work which resembles medical writing about 7 years ago. And even in this short period of time, the field has evolved so much that medical writing is no longer just a job. It is a full-fledged career. What I mean by that is that someone who begins as a medical writer has so many options to move both horizontally as well as vertically, not only within an organization, but also in a freelance capacity. This is because, as I've discussed in an earlier conversation, that there are so many different flavors of medical writing that one could explore. And I often come across medical writers who begin with doing one type of medical writing, such as regulatory medical writing, and then move horizontally into a different flavor of medical writing, still using the same kind of thought process and mindset required to develop documents which are of a high quality, but now the audience that they speak with is different. So in that sense, there's tremendous possibility in moving horizontally within the medical writing field. More and more new flavors of medical writing are coming up. Even over the past 4 or 5 years or so, there are so many new and interesting flavors of medical writing within health economics, outcomes research, within real world evidence, within new and upcoming fields like artificial intelligence. Medical writing is beginning to play a huge impact on the progress of all these fields. So it's a very exciting time to transition laterally if that's something which you're considering. The other interesting thing about the medical writing career is that there's tremendous growth vertically as well. I've come across people who have begun as medical writers and then moved on to communication positions as either associate directors or medical directors, moved on to positions within corporate communication, for instance, or even moved on to leadership positions within medical affairs, because the kind of writing that they did and the kind of audience that they used to communicate with really helped them to combine those writing and communication skills with managerial and leadership skills, and now be in a position to lead teams within organizations to satisfy certain objectives which support product launch. So coming back to the question of whether medical writing is a terminal job, the short answer is no, it's not a terminal job, because the opportunities are limitless. Before wrapping up this conversation, I also like to add that one of the very interesting and very much needed things that the medical writing field needs right now is people who can mentor and coach other writers who are relatively newer to the field. People with a lot of experience, 10 plus years, 15 plus years of experience, who have been at the forefront of medical writing, whether in regulatory or medcoms or CME or elsewhere, who can talk about best practices, who can talk about lessons that they learned from the leading edge of medical writing and pass that on to others in the medical writing field, is also a huge requirement. It's a gap that is slowly beginning to be filled with people who are interested in mentoring and training others. So one interesting niche that you can consider if you're thinking about moving from medical writing onto something else or to a different layer in this career is to think about how you can give value back to the medical writing community and use the skills and the knowledge and the insight that you've developed in order to make the field stronger. So think about that, and all the best.